Hello, 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 and welcome to the ENG Youth Netball Premier League Update Review Show. How's that sound, Richard? Am I getting it? Am I nailing it yet?
Past, mate. We've got probably one more good introduction away from getting your certificate.
Oh, okay. I did forget to say welcome as well, part of FBL Broadcasting, part of the Keneally Corporation, blah, 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 blah.
You get your certificate. Like my dad got a certificate once for he was one of the best carpenters, and he was a site manager of like sites across Europe, the Middle East, but he kind of toned down his career aspirations when he got older. He was a site manager of a school, and they sent him on a course how to climb a ladder. So this is where you're at in your life, mate.
Yeah. It better be a nice big thing I can put right here. You know, I have passed the course of introductions to the ENG way of life. There you go.
But
I was going to say, everybody out there, don't forget, please put in the comments. We can throw it up on the screen. We like to hear your comments. We like to know what you think, especially when Richard talks about things about how do you make your tea and whether a milk or dark chocolate digestive is better.
Yeah.
As well as exactly what's going on with predictions as well in the league and what you think, especially if let us know what team you're part of, and also whether you're a parent, obviously, or just a fan, really, and what you expect to see in the final stages of the league. It's coming to an end, Richard. It's coming to an end, mate.
Yeah, we're getting there. When you get to the end of something, it always seems like it's a bit of a slog to get over to the finishing line, because all the kind of little tedious things that you haven't kind of experienced start showing their heads towards the end, because all clubs have different reasons for turning up, but then some haven't reached the targets they want to reach. So then motivation levels drop from some teams, but then the teams that are pushing for the top four, they're highly motivated. But at the same time, when you're highly motivated, there's a lot of emotion to cope with, and I found that on Saturday. It was it was a good day, but you could feel the emotion in the air. You could feel there's a bit of anxiety in the air, and it was. I kind of walked away from Saturday, and I just needed to lie down, because that's why I didn't do many interviews, because I just couldn't really. It was just one of them where you could feel that every game was so intense that just didn't have a lot of energy to give when it come to after the games. You kind of wanted to just chill out a little bit to regather your thoughts, because you knew the next game was going to be so full on. Yeah. And that's where we're at. This is the highly emotional part of the season, because teams are obviously celebrating qualifying for the grand finals. Teams are trying to push to get into the grand finals. Teams are kind of looking at other teams thinking, I wish that was me, type of thing. So you're dealing with a lot of
work harder.
But you know what I mean? It's just things like, for instance, if I see, I don't know, a rival business doing better than me, and I'm looking at it thinking, oh, why not me?
You can't have any rivals, Richard. Oh, you're not top of the game.
I'm sure I have. I try to not. I don't know. I just do my own thing, really. I don't really focus on that. But we all want, when you feel you're below someone, you kind of want what the people above you have. And yeah, it's again, you're just dealing with a lot of emotion. But it was still a good day Saturday, really good day in there.
And with the extra camera view.
No, but yeah, we get onto that as well, to be fair, because I think we definitely, in terms of spectator experience on Saturday and from home, it was the best yet. So I
love the update some people were doing online. I saw a couple saying, shouting at the TV like they were watching Sky Sports. It was something amazing.
No, it's good, really good. The most immersive live stream we've had so far.
I would also like to say shout outs. I picked this up on Saturday, and I said to you, I only just noticed 5-way shout out. When they do their huddle together before they start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. I was just like, That's so cool as well. Sorry, I quickly throw that in. What's your best shout outs for everybody as well? Let us know in the comments.
Okay, so Saturday, it was a big day in the under-13s Youth Netball Premier League. A lot to play for. A lot of teams having to win games to either get into the top 4 or to maintain their position in the top 4. And it was a full-on day. So here are the results from Saturday. So AP setting, bit of an anti-climax a little bit because some of the teams had missing players and stuff, so it was a bit frustrating as well. But AP Saints, they played Team Beds. AP Saints were missing 5, maybe 6 players. They were doing something else, but they kind of only needed 1 win to kind of make sure they guaranteed their place in the grand finals. It was a 22-16 win against Team Beds. To be fair to Team Beds, they done a great job and probably would a little bit frustrated they couldn't win that game because they started well, but just couldn't seem to get the fluency in their play to kind of scare AP Saints too much. And because they did up until that, I think the third quarter, they had them on the ropes as they say in boxing. But AP Saints just got the job done there. Team Beds then went on and played Team
quite
Bridge.
Close, wasn't it? For the first 3 quarters, wasn't it? And then in the final quarter, that's when it all started to open up a bit, I think.
It did, yeah. The final. It's always the final quarter because it's you come into the end and everything matters when you get to the end of something. That every pass, every shot, every foul given by the umpire, especially in close games, it makes a big difference. And once you feel one team getting their momentum, it's hard to kind of get it back, especially if you're going into the final quarter. But then Team Beds straight away went against Team Bridge. Team Bridge had 3 games this round and had to win all 3. So they got off to a good start against Team Beds, 30-14. Then AP Saints took on Cross Keys, a game that offered so much more than we expected. But because of AP Saints missing players, Cross Keys ran out convincing winners 37-21, which means Cross Keys are in pole position to get runners up spot in the league. So massive dent to AP Saints because it looks like they, along with potentially Ryland or possibly Five Ways, who look the most likely to get into the top 4, will have to potentially play Oldham or Kingsway Power in the grand finals, quarterfinals. So big defeat there for AP Saints. And they've still got to play Eagles in the final game of the season. Then Turnford versus Team Bridge. Team Bridge again, superb performance. Turnford did really well though in the final quarter of this game. They come back fast, and you always know when a team is under pressure because they start throwing all their, the substitutions come thick and fast. So Turnford did a great job in the final quarter to really to push Team Bridge. But Team Bridge, again, they got the job done. So 31-22. Then straight after that, Team Bridge were back in business against Five Ways. This was, let me just probably the game of the day. Five Ways were winning up until the 4th quarter, and Team Bridge scored just went on a great run. They, I think for me, Five Ways kind of buckled under the pressure a little bit, and Team Bridge got their 3 wins out of 3 to give them a chance of still getting into the top 4. So well done to Team Bridge. I'm also going to show, I've got to say this, Martin, but I'm also going to show a goal that was scored by one of the Team Bridge shooters. It's quite easy to find, to be honest. So we'll grab that later on. Then Ryland took on Eagles, a game I want to talk about this game as well, because Ryland did a fantastic job. For me personally, they, apart from potentially Cross Keys, but they really took the game to Eagles in the first 2 quarters. Were unlucky not to go in at halftime leading, but it all kind of unravelled in the 3rd quarter in particular, and they ended up losing. But the first 2 quarters in particular, they were well in the game. They were dominating in large periods and were unlucky not to go in at halftime leading. So it was great they could do that, but probably delve into a little bit why they couldn't maintain that in the 3rd quarter, which meant Eagles went and won the game. Looks like convincingly, but it wasn't as convincing as the score suggests. Then Turnford played Ryland, so Ryland needed that win in particular to make sure they they're in pole position to get into the top 4, and they did. They beat Turnford 30-17. Then a very kind of this is the most pressurized game of the day. Like, you could really feel the pressure in the air on this one. It was Magic versus Five Ways, a local rivalry, very stoppy-starty game, a game where both teams just couldn't get a lot of consistency going. As many mistakes as one was making, the other was making. And but Magic in the final quarter finally got ahead after 3 quarters of chipping away at Five Ways, like small lead, and then within the last minute and a half it unravelled itself, and Five Ways got the win. It was just so hard on Magic because they'd worked so hard to get to that position. But sport, like life, can change in seconds, and that's exactly what happened. One small mistake kind of meant that Five Ways were able to get back into the game and go on and win it. So very high pressured game, and I can imagine Magic was super frustrated not to get the win there. Then straight after that, Eagles versus Magic. For me, it's one of those games. If Magic beat Five Ways, they're in a good place mentally to play Eagles. If they, based on the fact they lost to Five Ways in that manner, mentally, they're just not at the races, to be honest. And I think that game in particular against Eagles, mentally drained, and it was what it was. They just burnt out mentally, and Eagles got a very convincing win, which meant Eagles were the champions because AP Saints failed to win both their games. So Eagles are officially the champions of the Southern Conference with 1 game to go. The first club to do that.
Congratulations, Eagles.
Well, we've got a short history, but they're the only club so far to win the league with a game to spare. And we're going to bring in 2 of their athletes, Freya and Jasmine, who it was meant to be Jolie, but we've got Jasmine. But we've got Freya and Jasmine. For me, this is...
By the way, Richard, Freya likes milk chocolate, she said.
Yeah, I know, I see that. But for me, these 2 are the most dangerous goal attack, goal shooter duo in the whole entire country at this level. These 2 are an absolute amazing, and they're not so they've won the ENG Under-13 Southern Conference. Last season, they were the grand finals national champions, and Freya was the MVP. So this league has given them plenty of awards and trophies. I bet you like this league, don't you, you two?
I'm liking the trophies, yeah. Shiny.
Well, yeah, so when you see those medals and stuff, does that give you more motivation to think, I need to win one of those?
Yeah, it gives you excitement. You want more. They're shiny.
Well, Martin's job is to polish them before the event.
Mate, busy sorting out internet and moving the camera. Busy man, me. But I do try. Have it on the corner there while I'm moving the camera around and checking the internet. I do shine them up.
Great, well done.
Well, you've got another medal coming because you are the champions of the South. You've won. You've played 8. You've won 8. Freya, you told me off last season a little bit, and I was a bit annoyed a little bit. You told me off because you'd lost 2 games and you weren't top of the league. You said, "Rich, get me better teams for this league," and I've supplied you with those better teams. The league has improved, but so have you as a team as well. Like, you've gone from a team that come 3rd to a team that have kind of very convincingly won the league. Is it if you were the team you were last season, would you have won this league convincingly, or have you improved that much as a team this season?
We've definitely improved a lot as a team. I think if we were the team that we were last time, we probably wouldn't have beaten Crosskeys, is my thinking. I'd say we'd be like a 2nd or maybe 3rd kind of thing. I'm not sure exactly. I can remember in TTNC, one of the games that we lost last season, I wasn't there, and I'm kind of the only goal attack that we have on our team, which is quite a key position. I can't even remember what happened with the other match in my life. But
It was Jasmine's fault, wasn't it? Why you got beat Team Bridge?
Well, I like the way Freya said that. I wasn't there. So obviously that means something.
naturally, that's why we didn't win. You know.
Speak to my parents, they're my agent. You can pay me money. There you go.
So, Freya, if you go first, can you just give us a quick insight to how long you've been playing netball, how long you've been playing for Eagles, and what kind of your aspirations are within netball?
Well, I've been playing for like 5 or 6 years at this point, I think. And I started playing for the Eagles in like, it's been like 2 years at this point. I think it has. And I'd really just like to keep playing netball at a competitive level for as high as I can, and just keep improving. Is kind of my aspirations at the moment.
And you, Jasmine, I know you haven't been playing long, and I like your backstory because you come into netball just completely raw, didn't you? Like you didn't really know what was going on when you first played netball, did you?
No, actually, one of my coaches came up to me at school in a fire drill and asked me if I wanted to play netball. That's the amazing story.
Above
Did they call it fireball? Sorry, Freya, what was that?
Sorry.
What was that, Freya?
I just heard that it was kind of like they saw Jasmine's head above everybody else's in the fire drill, and were like, we want that one to play netball for a league.
So, had you played netball before this teacher or sports coach recommended it to you, or did you?
No, I played like at school, but school wasn't like at such an intense level. They didn't teach me the stuff Eagles have taught me.
So you go to Eagles, and I know it's not for the faint-hearted. It's you don't go there to kind of have. You have fun in different ways. You have fun in working hard. You have fun in discipline. You have fun in trying to reach certain targets and stuff like that. So when you got into the Eagles setup, what were your first thoughts?
I found it quite intense. At the very beginning, I used to play goalkeeper, and I really couldn't play it at all. Until I think we had a match and they finally decided to move me to goal shooter. And that's when I started practicing, and I was practicing very hard because I know I didn't want to let the team down, because, you know, they are at such an intense level that I didn't want to drop down below their level.
Yeah. And because when you first started playing in our league, again, you were relatively new to netball, weren't you?
Yeah.
And how much support did Freya give you? Because you play goal shooter, Freya plays goal attack. And for me, when I think back to when I used to watch football as a child, I used to love what there's a you girls won't have a clue what I'm talking about now. But when I used to support Man United, and there was a combination called Dwight York and Andy Cole, and as a partnership up front, they scored many goals together. And watching that partnership play out on the football pitch was amazing to watch. Now, when I watch you two, it's a partnership I just really enjoy watching, because you seem to have, not only do you're both great players, but you seem to support each other a lot on the court. So how much support did Freya give you, Jasmine, in kind of helping you learn the game?
Yeah, Freya's helps a lot. I think she helps me out by, you know, when I'm doing something wrong or when I'm stuck, she kind of just tells me how to get unstuck in a way.
So, and Freya,
what did she say? What did she say? You say to get unstuck.
Usually I shout at her.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
That's a very common thing.
My anti-glue is shouting or screaming occasionally. I like to change it up a bit, you know.
Well, Freya, I've seen your anti-umpire face many times when you're playing as well.
I mean, most of the time that's like an anti-me face, you know. It's like, Freya, why did you do that? That was stupid. Occasionally, it's a little bit of an anti-umpire case when there's a bit of a misunderstanding, you know.
What do you mean the umpire hasn't done what, you know, has gone against you? Is that what you're saying? And you kind of... Not
always on purpose. Sometimes it feels a little bit like it, but I know they're trying their best,
Hey, Freya, we're all trying. We're all winging it. We're all trying our best, to be honest.
They try their best. That's all I ask.
well, for me, I think the reason why you have improved as a team this season in particular is because, Jasmine, your performances have just completely gone through. I just think from where you were last season to where you are now, like your movement, your execution, your level of competition has gone up tenfold. Do you feel that as a player? Do you feel like you've improved a lot as a player?
I think from when I started compared to now, I feel I have more options in how I play. Like, for example, at the very beginning when I started out, it was just a bunch of overheads. And then I started practicing how to time my overhead jumps. And then I started adding splits, steppy things, and other different...
Way too much.
Please do.
Carry on.
Yeah, well,
so I kind of widened my knowledge.
Yeah, it looks, because for me, if you're a tall goal shooter, the easy option is just to stick your hands up in the air and say, "Pass me the ball." But what I've noticed with you is your ability to move now and to receive the ball in different positions is improved massively. How much is that to do with the coaching you're getting? How much do they push you as players?
It's a lot of our coach, telling us that I should move my feet. It's also partly Jolie and Toby, their jumpiness as well challenges me a lot. So I should.
Oh yeah, true. No, yeah, they do. Yeah, Jolie Jolie and who's the other defender called?
Toby.
Yeah, Toby. I tell you, when they go to, I think we might see Toby here actually, about to defend, but they do love a jump, don't they? Yeah. But you've so this season, you've got your 8 wins. You're top of the league. Again, do you feel you've been pushed as a team this season? Do you feel you've got that level of competition you need?
I think we definitely have. It's a higher standard than it was last year. Well done.
Thank you. But,
I think we've definitely improved as a team, and the league has helped us a lot with that, kind of practicing new things against the standard that's pushing us.
And you're going into you're going into the grand finals as kind of the team to beat, because obviously everyone knows that you'd won this last season. For me, it's like, can you replicate that? Because we've got like the Kingsway Powers, we've got the Oldhams. It looks likely you might be playing a team called Oaksway, who are a fantastic team as well. How confident are you that you can replicate what you did last season?
Very confident. Never underestimate the other teams, but also never underestimate your own abilities. So.
And you I think you thrive in this competitive environment. Am I right? You really enjoy the competitive side of it, don't you?
Yes. Like my driving force for netball and most sports.
And you're watching yourself on the screen there. You all your games are live. As a 13-year-old netballer, give us some feedback on what's it like to know that your games are constantly live to watch on TV, as well as having that level of competition.
I forget about it. Honestly, sometimes I even forget that we film until after the game, and then I see all the cameras. And I realise that that type of thing was kind of filmed. But
So I was going to say, what do you mean? You look back on the court and then you just see you've got the middle camera, the left and the right.
My mind kind of blocks out everything else around me. It's just the netball that's playing. I kind of forget the viewing part.
Well, I don't know which game it was. I can't remember, because it all blends into one when you're live streaming like 10 games, especially with 3 cameras. But there was one they hit the laptop. Do you remember which game it was, Richard?
That's Magic game.
It was the Magic game.
Yeah, it was quite funny because what was that, Freya?
Did at one point they knocked water onto the laptop or something?
Yeah.
No water ever allowed. Anybody puts any liquid near my tech, gets a lecture, believe me. But they'd hit the laptop and it actually took out 2 of the cameras. So I was frantically trying to get them done. But it's the look of both teams going, and it's like, yeah. And Richard's obviously looking, is the stream down? It's just like, I'm just okay. I try and be that James Bond and just casually give that a little flick, work that one. Okay, my laptop still survived. But also, I'd like to big shout out to some of the players who do protect that little area of where I have the laptop and all the equipment set up and everything. They do run in and stop the ball. But Richard did say to me, they didn't do it to protect your equipment. They're just keeping the ball on the court, Martin. So I don't know.
No one cares about your equipment, mate. but Ryland Saturday, girls, you know they gave you a good run for your money in the first 2 quarters. I don't think you gave them enough credit in that interview after the game. But for me, did you feel under pressure in that game? Because they did do well the first couple of quarters.
They took the lead at one point on this first quarter.
Yeah, from the back, from the little square, my little third I have, it's quite painful to watch sometimes that, that we're kind of drawing. But I kind of had that little hope in me that we will win, and we did, and we pulled through.
Yeah, I think we were definitely confident that we would win, even when we were down by like a couple. The main reason for why we fell behind was we'd been doing quite a lot of extra training the week before, and we were learning a lot of new skills, and we hadn't yet really had a chance to put them into practice against the team that's like a decent standard. That's why it took us a couple quarters to kind of get used to it.
Yeah, because you do in your local leagues and regional leagues. I've noticed some of the scores online, and they are heavy. They are quite big scores. Like, is it hard to kind of come into those type of games knowing, not having the level of competition you need, and then trying to adapt to that level of competition when you come into it? Do you reckon do you kind of are a bit afraid that if when you get to the grand finals, because you're not going to have this level of competition building up to it, you could kind of get caught asleep in the grand finals in the quarterfinals?
Wait, I'm kind of glitching out a little bit. What did you say?
I think Jasmine heard me. Go on, Jasmine. Do you reckon that's detrimental to you not having that level of competition constantly?
No, I think when it comes, we just need to always have the set mindset, because in this situation we were doing way too much homework that we forgot how to play our own game. But when it comes to intense teams, because we have played some intense teams, we always bring a good game to them, and they always bring a good game to us. So I don't think we are worried about the final.
Did you see that Ruby had predicted that you would pass it to a certain player in the first centre pass?
Yeah.
And did you on purpose not pass it to that particular person because of what Ruby said?
Yes, but also so to be honest, we did see that on like Instagram or something, and our goalkeeper Jolie, she was like, "Well, we're gonna not do that, okay?" But I mean, most of the time it goes to our wing attack anyway, so I'm not really sure why she said that, to be honest.
But she's probably just trying to psych you out, Freya.
Oh yeah.
Probably sat in the background saying, "Right, we now know what she's not going to do or what they're not going to do, so we can work on something else."
Reverse psychology. People.
There you go. Yeah.
Might be reverse psychology.
See, I'm the type of person, girls, that if someone said to me, "We're going to pass it to a particular player," I would have passed it to that player just to be spiteful, to say, "Yeah, you're right, but that's where we're passing it." And
also going to do something a little bit different. So where you think it would go, it's totally not. Like that's what I would do.
No, I would purposely so when Ruby said we're going to pass it to the goal attack, I would have purposely passed it to the goal attack.
Yeah, and then brought it back or done whatever. To me, add a little bit. There's a normal flow. Like this is another thing. Like you get to see the flow of the game, obviously with the third camera. So I kind of know roughly what you girls are going to do. Well, I presume I make an assumption of where you're going to go, and a lot of back passing was happening on a few of the games last weekend, and it's quite an interesting one. Of you've changed your tactic. I haven't really seen it as much as I did last week. A lot of back play was that something that you were doing?
Well,
Is that
yeah,
something-
I said it was kind of one of the skills that we would been learning with all of our extra training sessions. Don't want to say too much, you know, can't reveal all our secrets. But...
Well, do you normally pass the ball back when there's nothing on, or is it a case of going back to go forward type of thing? Is there a tactic to passing the ball back, or is that the last resort because there's nothing going forwards?
Occasionally it can be like a kind of, you're on your third second, we need another option kind of thing. But it can also be like, I mean, if the defenders drive in front of the center, then you're still going forward, and then you have more options for the second phase pass.
Yeah, well, you got the job done. You are the champions of the South, and you know you've got a big grand finals coming up.
Championships.
Because I promote you to quite a lot in regards to your ability levels. Do you thrive in that type of environment? Are you going into the grand finals thinking, you know, Richard has said we are the best in the league as a duo?
Yes, because we are. So
that's what I'm saying. But are you kind of the type of people who think, Rich, come on, don't set me up for a fall? Or are you thinking, keep going, Rich? You know, I want people to know how good we are. What's your thought pattern?
Yeah, they should be worried. Helping our intimidation tactic, you know, is we're not going to be here all like, oh no, we're worried about playing against those wonderful Northern teams, because then at that point you've already lost. You know, they're sitting there watching, going, oh well, they're scared players. Then that's psychologically.
Well, that's something I want to talk about as well, because it seems like teams like yours, you seem to have the edge psychologically on other teams. So, what do you, as players, what do you think it is you have psychologically that kind of the teams that are kind of in and around you don't? Because it seems like even when you're under pressure, you can still dig out that performance to get the job done. Whereas some teams, they have to perform at such a high level constantly just to get a small amount of success. Why do you think teams like yours? How do you think? What gives you the edge from a mental capacity?
I think we have this thought process of how like we're quite like relaxed when it comes to in stressful situations. That I think it would intimidate me if someone was a very relaxed team when they know that they're probably going to have a challenging game. And if you're relaxed, then it kind of just intimidates me more.
But when just say, for instance, when Ryland were kind of neck and neck with you, how do you perceive that? Do you kind of still in your mind think, well, we're going to win this anyway? You know, you can play as hard as you want, but the result is still going to be in our favor. Is that how you're thinking?
I mean, we knew from the beginning that we were probably going to beat Ryland. We believe that we're a better team, you know, we believe in ourselves. And even if we did lose both of the matches that weekend, we could still have come first. So there wasn't really a massive load of worry behind it. And I think with the whole like reputation thing you were talking about, it's kind of just like a domino effect. You know, because like we came first, we won the whole thing last season, and we keep getting good results, and so it's kind of the past repeats itself kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. So basically, it's interesting one, Martin, because like Freya was saying there, they go into these games and they have no fear.
Yeah,
they're not afraid. They you know you can go 3 or 4 points up against them, but they're still not afraid. They're still composed. They're still, you know, believing they can win, and that's a big thing, because in these type of games, when you start going down 1 or 2 points, it comes down to the mindset. Now, if you start believing, oh no, we're going to get beat in these type of games, then you're on a very slippery slope to no town. And it's interesting to hear what Frey is saying there. There's no fear. They probably thrive more when they're being pushed. they're more they feel challenged, so they're enjoying it. Do you find, do you know when you play games and you're winning by a lot, when you're say drawing at half time practically, do you feel more challenged and do you enjoy that more?
We definitely do a higher standard. Yeah. Sorry, Jasmine, were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna say some of the scores you might have saw that seem not like in the league, like the really high, big difference ones. Sometimes our gameplay can get quite repetitive, so it kind of does get boring. So when it comes to like neck and neck games, it gets more more exciting because it's more, you know.
But Martin, this is it. Like when you're speaking to them, when some teams or a lot of teams, when they're in that situation, that's a highly stressful environment for them. But Jasmine's sitting there saying, "Love it, bring it on." You know, I want it to be a draw. I want the game to go I want the game to be on the knife edge, because that's where I get my enjoyment from.
The adrenaline kicks in. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? That's it. That's what I would say.
But they're fully immersed in that process and are accepting it for what it is and actually enjoying the process. Whereas a lot of other teams, and again, this is a psychological thing. You've got to learn as an athlete. You've got to embrace it, enjoy it for what it is, and not be afraid. And I don't think they're actually afraid of it. They're actually welcoming the challenge, and that's why
they want it. That's what it is. Yeah, we want the challenge.
But that's why they are successful.
But this is what was interesting. What they said earlier. You had a chat with your coach. You talked about the tables. You talked about you kind of had a couple of games in the bag, really. So whether you win or lose this one, it didn't really matter. So did that exactly help you when you went on to the court?
Oh, I think that's
more relaxed.
Yeah, relaxing was kind of the main point of that, is because we were all kind of, all those new skills that we learned, we were really worried about putting them into play, and that was kind of all we were thinking about. We weren't concentrating on playing our game. So it was just kind of about relaxing and, just playing netball.
Just enjoying it. Yeah, enjoying for what it is. And but when you've learned something new, it becomes annoying because you've actually got to physically remember, haven't you? There's a thing called muscle memory. It's like guitarists, drummers have and stuff. I don't know if you've heard of it. Muscle memory is you naturally do it. I picked up a guitar after X amount of years and actually can play a couple of chords. And I'm like, how am I able to do that? But that's because you've done it so many times. You just know. But you can see it in the gameplay. In the 2 quarters we just played, you can see how, very good game to watch that one. But yeah, you can see how you. I think both teams are enjoying it on that day. To be fair, Richard.
No, I think Ryland. I think they, again, the pressure wise, I don't think they embrace it as probably as much as Eagles do. I think Eagles embrace it more and enjoy that process more than potentially Ryland. But that goes for most of the teams who would be in that situation. But before you go, girls, so teams in the North, if they're watching this tonight to see the famous duo online, what would be your message to them? Kingsway Power girls, Oldham girls, when they come on a court against you, what are they going to expect from your type of play and your performance?
Be scared.
Yeah, get ready.
See, less words the better. Like it.
Sorry if I can quickly jump in. Is there anything from the game against the Ryland game that really came out in your head? Is there something that you remember from that game massively that you were like, yeah?
I remember something from the Magic game.
Oh,
go on.
Freya's amazing shot. Freya,
the Magic
do you not remember
game?
when you're about to fall backwards and you threw it up in the air and it went in?
Oh, is this before she goes off the court?
It didn't count because apparently, I was like a millimeter.
No, I saw against
off the line, and I just chucked it up and it went in.
Was the ball in? The ball was in. Is that what you're saying?
It went in. I saw my foot on before the line. I'm not trying to dispute against any umpires, but
are you trying to say dodgy umpiring, Jasmine?
No. I'm not saying dodgy
umpiring. We'll pass that on. We'll clip that out, Richard, I think, and put that out on the posts, on all the social media.
Yeah,
definitely.
Jasmine's calling our umpires dodgy. Right.
No, I really don't think I.
Don't forget, you've got a game against AP Saints to play. I wouldn't want the umpires against you on that game, Jasmine.
Jasmine. Oh.
Right, let's touch upon that game. Let's touch it.
Wait out Freya's amazing shot.
Well,
I'll try and find it quickly.
Yeah, go on. Let's touch upon.
Oh wait, but Jasmine did a cool shot too. She did this thing where she was. I think that was also in the Magic game where I wasn't on because I injured my back. And she was quite near to the edge of the circle. She took a massive step in and swooshed it from like 1.5 meters out. So that was.
What quarter was that? What quarter was that, Fred? Do you remember?
Pardon?
Do you remember what quarter that was?
Oh, do you know what that was?
What side was she shooting? What side?
We were shooting from
away from us. It was away from us. It was either the third or fourth quarter.
So
which one are we doing first? Are we doing Freya's or Jasmine's? Because I remember exactly when that happened on the right hand side. God, I'm sad. I know.
Well, you've got AP Saints. You've got AP Saints left to play. A team that won against you last season. Are you looking forward to that game?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a good game to end the season on. They're a tough team, but I reckon we can definitely beat them. Very confident in everybody else's abilities on that. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And even though you've won the league, you kind of want to go unbeaten, don't you?
We do, and also we are 8 points away from a 200-point goal difference. So we have to beat them by at least 8. That's my.
There you go, AP Saints. Freya set the gauntlet down. They're going to beat you by at least 8 because they want a 200-point goal difference. Like it. So that'll be on April the 9th. That'll be your celebration game because you get your lovely medals. Then you get your trophy. So yeah.
Don't worry, I'll shine the trophy. I'll shine it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, cheers, Martin.
I know my place.
We're gonna.
I think this was the shot here, wasn't it?
Let's have a look.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It was on the other side of the court.
No, it was over that side.
No, the one where I fell off court was down the other end.
Yeah.
Oh, but did you see that? Wait, oh my gosh, Jolie's tips during that game.
Yeah, they were very good.
What's this?
While she was, when they're shooting it up, Jolie, our goalkeeper, she just hits it right out there. It's amazing.
Yeah, she whacks it.
Like a million miles off the floor.
There you go. Look.
Did she get on this one?
No, didn't get that one. But
I did notice that as well. Actually, good point.
But girls, we're gonna love you and leave you. If we do find these shots, we'll post them online and you can watch them there. But it's great having you on. We'll see you again on April the 9th, and we look forward to seeing whether you can become champions again this season. So well done, girls. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Freya, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye. Thank you for coming on.
So there you have it.
I was frantically see if I get that in the last second. I couldn't.
Well, here's a good. If you want to talk about good shots, if you can go on to the Team Bridge, Team Beds game. It's
all right, the Team Bridge, Team Beds.
It's the first quarter with about 1 minute 20 seconds to go. It's an incredible shot. The girl, I think its name's Lucy. Let me just double check. She was off balance, and before she got penalised for footwork, she managed to shoot and score, which was good.
Did you say first quarter? Did you?
Yeah, first quarter.
She was off balance. You said. Who was it? Sorry.
There she is. Hold on. Just double check. Yeah, Lucy. Her name's Lucy. Yeah. So about 1 minute 20 seconds to go in the game.
1 minute 20 seconds. Oh.
Yeah. I think it's coming now. Here we go. So it's a fantastic shot. So it's coming now, but off balance. Potentially goes to get penalised for footwork, but as her foot is about to touch the floor, she offloads the shot. Here we go. She falls. Oh, there you go.
Well spotted.
It's a great shot. And do you know what?
I
I don't think you appreciate how far away she was as well. The camera makes it look a lot shorter distance, but it was a great shot. And well done to Lucy. She was on fire this Saturday for Team Bridge. And so one thing I want to talk about is before we go on to the under 13s North,
Yeah,
I think two teams in particular, I think, could probably walk away frustrated on Saturday, and that was Ryland and Magic. Ryland, for me, they applied themselves fantastically in the first two quarters against Eagles. They went a couple of points down, and I thought, oh, come on, in these games, do not the first centre pass they had, it got turned over. So I'm thinking, oh, not this. Don't get the ball turned over so early. Just be focused. But they managed to show a good level of discipline to get back into the game. Then they started to dominate the game, but then they had an opportunity to go 1 point up before half time, but they missed that opportunity, which meant then Eagles went and scored. Then Eagles then scored their centre pass, which meant they went ahead 2 points going into half time. So it changed drastically.
Yeah.
But then they come out on the third quarter and didn't score a single goal in the third quarter. And, it was frustrating to watch because they had applied themselves so well. But in that 9 minutes, in that third quarter, it just didn't seem to, the level of discipline they have kind of disappeared. And it's frustrating to watch because that's the difference right there between, say, Eagles and teams like Ryland. Ryland proved within that first half they can match teams like Eagles, the number one team in the country currently at this level. But again, it's that level of discipline needed to keep that level of performance high throughout the whole game. And I think that's a big challenge for teams, especially next season. If teams like Ryland want to, because Ryland can still come third. They've got Teambridge left, a tough game. If you get the table up,
just do that. Look at that.
So if you look at the table, Ryland are fourth, and based on their goal difference, they can still afford to lose, and still qualify for the grand finals. If you look at the goal difference, so Magic, they've got a win already because they're meant to be playing Abbey Flyers, but Abbey Flyers pulled out the league. So Magic are on 10 points, but they get a 30-0 win. But even if they did play Abbey Flyers, they weren't going to win by 70-odd points. So unfortunately for Magic, they're out of it. But then Teambridge, it looks very unlikely that Teambridge are going to beat Ryland by 40, 50 points unless Ryland come with a very depleted team on the day. So the only team realistically that can push Ryland to the top four is Five Ways. Now they've got team beds, and they're going to have to beat them. They're going to have to win by at least 40 points. Now, is that possible? Potentially. But then they're going to have to rely on Teambridge to beat Ryland. And if they get beyond the goal difference they need, then it doesn't matter what Teambridge beat Ryland by. But then if they don't, they're going to need Teambridge to potentially win by 5-10 points, which is possible. But it's going to be a difficult one. So Ryland are very likely to go through to the top four. But this is sport. And anything can happen. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that game. And I know Teambridge, regardless of their position in the table, they're going to want to finish the season well because they had such a great final round. So if Ryland beat Teambridge and AP Saints lose to Eagles, then Ryland go third and they get an ENG medal. So, and that would be a great, and that would be an improvement from last season because they come fourth last season. So there's a lot. So Ryland
there is a lot there, isn't there? Especially getting a medal. You're coming third.
Well, depending on the five-way score, they're gonna. So five-way, say for instance, five-ways win by 45 points or 40 points.
Yeah.
The pressure will be on Ryland because if they find themselves down in the game, they know every goal scored against them has a big significance when it comes to the. So they're going to have to handle that pressure well. It looks likely they're going to go through, but they're going to have to handle it very well in order to qualify. But at the same time, if you come fourth, you play first from the north, and ideally you don't want to do that. So you'd rather play second place from the north than first place. So AP
Well,
The
just
Saints
lost
have got
him.
Eagles.
Okay.
They're going to want to win that game.
Yeah.
They're going to want to win against Eagles to stop them going fourth, and also they can get a medal as well. So that should be a really good game between AP Saints and Eagles in the last game of the season. And AP Saints have a chance to take away Eagles' unbeaten record, which they'll be determined to do. And as Freya said, they want to win by at least 8 points against AP Saints.
Yeah.
So their goal difference goes to 200.
It's quite an interesting end to season on April 9th. Is that April 9th?
Yeah.
I don't know if you changed that. Yeah, because you got 5 ways, and then you got Ryland playing. So Ryland are going to know. Yeah, they're actually going to kind of know where they're at and what they've got to do, won't they, when they come into the game?
So
5 ways they played.
Well, I don't know. It might be one of those ones where the coaches, I think 5 ways will be eager to watch that game. But
That's what I mean. I think that's going to be a one to watch for them, because it's a bit like, we need to know how much, because if they win, we can't afford to lose. If we lose, how much can you know what I mean? How much can you lose? But there's loads of things going on there.
But at the same time, if they win, they can go third, get themselves a medal, improve their position from last season, and also not play the champions from the North in the first game. So
I say it doesn't matter, mate. Don't matter.
I'd say it
take them all out. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'll do anyone. Not a problem, mate. We've got it covered. We're the best.
But so it's
got a game in the bag, mate. Look, won the league. Game in the bag.
But Cross Keys, they're guaranteed to. Well, they are guaranteed for me to come second, because the team they're playing in the last game of the season are not playing, so they've got a guaranteed win there.
Well, that'll be it then.
So Cross Keys, well done. They're new to the league, and
that's quite an accomplishment, isn't it? That's like a Brawn moment in Formula One. Cross Keys first to the.
Well, they out of every team this season, they've pushed Eagles the most. They only lost by 2 or 3 points, and it was a close game throughout the whole game. But Cross Keys have been ravaged with injuries and isolations throughout the whole season, and since that first game against Eagles, they've struggled to get a full team together. So hopefully for the Nationals, all their players will be available, because they're a team that not a lot of people know of, but they are a very good team, and it looks likely they might play Chester or Oaksway in the grand finals, which will be a great game, a really, really good game. But when we get to the grand finals, again, it's all about accessing the best teams in the country. So it's just wherever you come, just play your games, enjoy playing against teams from other parts of the country, and testing yourself as a player. But
enjoy the challenge as well. Enjoy it. Enjoy the challenge.
But before we go into the North,
it
was a big game for Magic this week against 5 Ways. If they'd have won that game, because they were playing Abbey Flyers, regardless whether Abbey Flyers played or not, they would have probably, most likely, 99% sure won that game anyway. So they had probably their best chance ever to get into the top 4. And if you go to the Magic game, probably if you go to about 3 minutes to go in the final quarter.
Magic versus 5 Ways?
Yeah, Magic versus 5 Ways. You get to see how well they did to get back in this game, but then all the great work they did just got unravelled with a couple of minutes spell.
So where do you want to go again? Sorry, about here?
About 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes before the end of the game. But yeah, as you see, 5 Ways.
Very close game there.
They're 15-14 up. I think Magic, for me, throughout the game, we talked last week about being brave, being positive, taking shots that we talked about, will you take those long shots?
Yeah.
And be brave. And I think in the first couple of quarters, I think they just weren't being as brave as they should have been. They were a bit tentative, wanting to shoot, probably going backwards more than they would have liked in terms of passing and not pushing through the court. And our coaches always say driving through the court. But as we got to the final quarter, their hard work started to pay off. They stayed in the game, and they're playing a very good 5 Ways team as well. I think what helped them was the 5 Ways goal defense or goalkeeper that she got injured with an ankle injury. So hopefully she's okay, and I wish her well in hoping she recovers quickly. But that kind of did help them because she was a big part of the five ways team. So they benefited from that in a very unsentimental way. And as you see now, it's 15-0. And at this point now, they have the chance to go ahead for probably, I think it might have been the first time in the whole game. So we've got 2 minutes to go. And now they've got the chance to go 1 point ahead. Which, Mia catches it. So here we go. They go 1 point ahead. Bang. Right. Now it says centre pass. They execute this, Martin. Game's over. So this is the fine line between... This is
the bit where I've got to go back. This is my camera.
So this is the fine line between winning and losing. So umpires giving some sort of contact there. And this is it. This is get this goal and you are in. And unfortunately, Mia misses it there. The rebound goes out of court. So now the pressure's on. And I'm sitting at the table thinking, they had it. That was it. That was the winning shot. And now five ways, they've got the chance not only to level the game,
but to take the lead as well, because obviously.
Well, they can level. Then it's their centre pass next.
Yeah.
But this is why I love the camera angles you've got now, Martin, because once they get into the attacking area, it's fully immersive. You get to see exactly what's going on.
But this is why I started off with the corner action cameras, because we've tried different angles, different ideas, and now we've got the all three. But it's seeing the ball going in.
But look at the desperate defending.
Yeah.
It's like
falling over.
Even a draw at this point would have been a good result for Magic. And this final minute was agonising. Like, it took a while for five ways to score, which wasn't good for Magic, because I thought, well, if five ways score quickly here, Magic still have a good amount of time to get a goal, but they were defending. So look, it's desperation time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You see all this. I'm obviously worried because they hurt themselves as well. Pan the camera away, but you could feel it as well. There was no doubt it was on the edge. I'm thinking, which camera do I go for?
There's some close calls as well, like in terms of 3 seconds on the ball. It's very, it's tough. It was tough for them to find the pass there because Magic were defending well.
That was
But
a shot.
Great shot, really good shot.
Under pressure as well.
Precisely.
I also noticed a lot of shouting coming from the coach there as well.
Well, she's saying, come on, get the ball. And this is unfortunate. But I think contact was given against, because she's come behind the goalkeeper. But that just showed it's a similar game to the AP Saints game where Magic, they went ahead in the final quarter and unfortunately lost out in the final quarter. And Magic this season, they've come so far as a team. They're more competitive. They're playing hard against teams who they were getting beat very convincingly against and coming away with only 1-2 point losses. Yeah. And
so would you say that it doesn't really, the league table doesn't really reflect, for instance, for Magic, how well they're, how well they've
got, once I update the table on April the 9th, they have got 10 points. So potentially, if Team Bridge win, then you're going to have 4 teams on 10 points. Next season, I expect this league, we've got more new teams coming in. So I expect the league to even be more competitive. And if it does end up like that, then I think all the teams, I think Magic in particular, can be happy with themselves, but frustrated that there's 2 games this season they could have won, but maybe ill discipline or just lack of bravery in the right moments cost them. But they're on the right road. They are moving forwards, and once they correct those little things, then they will get into the top 4 and they will be coming to the national event. But it takes time. It takes time, and they just got to be patient. They've got to continue to work hard, and because what they're doing at the moment is improving them. and they just got to just be patient because it will come. But unfortunately, this time it's not their time. But there you go. That's
Next season's going to be a one to watch, isn't it? I think.
Oh, this league next season is going to be brilliant. But let's move on. So that is how things are left after 8 games in the under-13s Southern Youth Netball Premier League. Eagles are the champions. Cross Keys will be crowned runners-up after April the 9th. AP Saints, Ryland, Five Ways in particular, still don't 100% know where they're at, but it looks like Ryland and AP Saints have the advantage there. But I think we could see a very interesting finale to this league on April 9th. So looking forward to that one. But we've got
a diary free or whatever. Yeah, definitely one to watch. Be there in person if you can, people.
But we've got a good Saturday ahead. We've got the under-13s Northern Conference.
Yes.
And
I threw a little bit of a smart one out there this week. I've actually released the last under-13s game so that over the next 48 hours they can learn and understand who they're playing. I thought, let's throw some mix in there, mix it up a bit. There you go.
No, that's what there's fair for. If you go to the fixtures, So if you look at the league table quickly. Sorry, Martin. If you look at the league table, we've got Kingsway, Power, and Oldham, who will most probably qualify for the Nationals this week. They're first and second, so they're on the collision course with each other to win this league. Then you got Chester and Oaksway, who again look likely to qualify for the grand finals, with Wyre and Saddleworth chasing them. Wyre and Saddleworth, they got no choice, but they have to win all the rest of their games this season. They do find themselves playing against Kingsway, Power, and Oldham. But that's where your live stream comes into play, because they can go back and watch it. Definitely. They can analyse what they need to do.
Learn, work it out, see what their strengths and weaknesses are. So.
Yeah, precisely. And again, they're going to have to play hard. They play hard. Remember, have a reality check. And I always do this when I feel like I'm under pressure. Remember, the people in front of you have arms. They have legs. They go to sleep at night just like you.
I don't know about me.
Yeah, not you, Martin. You're like a bat. But just kind of bring yourself back down to reality and kind of take away the fear and take away that anxiety that you're playing someone who's better than you, blah, blah, blah. What are they doing better than you? And for me, it goes back to the Eagles conversation. Kingsway, Power, and Oldham, in particular, when I've watched them, it's that fearlessness when they go onto the court, that kind of conviction they have and that confidence they have within themselves, and they thrive in highly challenging situations, and they execute in highly challenging situations. So if this is what this league's about, it's developing teams mentally, so they can mentally kind of approach things in a way which takes away the fear, which will give them a 10 times better chance of success. Because I've seen all these teams play and all of them are capable enough to push the top teams. It just comes down to discipline. It comes down to mindset. So if you scroll down, we'll look at the fixtures.
There we go.
So to kick us off on Saturday, we've got Saddleworth against Oldham. Really good game between two good teams. Saddleworth, I just hope they bring their A game. They put Oldham under pressure. I know Saddleworth are a type of team that have the ability, especially in the first 1 or 2 quarters, to really push and put teams under pressure, because they won this league. Don't forget they won this league last season. So they're definitely no pushovers. They just got to stay in the game as long as possible to make sure Oldham, when they make those mistakes, they can capitalise on them. Next up after that, we have Ellesmere Port and Grangetown. Big relegation battle. Grangetown haven't won yet this season, but have made a big improvement in their performances. So potentially they're their first win of the season. But if Ellesmere Port win, it looks like Grangetown, it looks like they will be going down, unfortunately. So a big game unless no other team wants to come in, and if they want to join back again, they can. But if more teams want to join, then it potentially could be their last season for a year. So hopefully they're going to be determined for that not to happen. Then we've got a great game between Chester and Oldham. Chester pulled off that fantastic win against Oaks Way. And they're playing Oldham. They're going to have to be focused, going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have that self-belief. Coach is going to have to make the right decisions in terms of substitutions and tactics. They're going to have to take the game to Oldham and just be confident that they can get a result. Then after that, Ellesmere Port plays Saddleworth. So Saddleworth, they could be coming off the back of a great upset. If they do, they're gonna be very confident to win this game. If not, Ellesmere Port, they've done relatively well last season. They've improved massively as a team. So potentially Ellesmere Port, if they beat Grangetown, we'll be thinking, hold on a minute, we're not just going to survive in this league. We're going to try and get mid-table. We're going to try and, move away from the bottom two. Then Grangetown played Chester. Again, Grangetown, depending on how they do the first game, will depend on their confidence levels going into this one. If they win their first game, they're going to be full of beans and be hopeful that they can give Chester a good game. They have given teams like Macclesfield and Wyre really good games this season. So again, I feel they can give Chester a good game. So Chester are going to have to be on their A game in that one. Then we have Kingsway Power versus Wyre. I feel a little bit sorry for Wyre this season. They have been suffering big time with a lot of injuries. And I think this week, again, they've got certain players out. So it doesn't help when you're playing against Kingsway Power. But the message is always very, very clear. Just be ready, be focused, be competitive, and just make Kingsway Power work as hard as possible for that victory. Then big game probably the biggest game of the day for me is Oaksway versus Kingsway Power. I'm just interested to see how Oaksway apply themselves. For me, it's hoping Oaksway just maintain discipline and don't allow Kingsway Power to get in front too early doors. And if they can stay in touch and stay relatively close to them throughout the game, it'd be interesting to see how the game pans out. So Oaksway, let's see if you can pull off probably the biggest shock of the season against Kingsway Power.
I think they could.
They can. That Martin.
Yeah.
I've seen enough this season for most teams. But again, it's just that durability. It's that consistency. It's the discipline to do it. Not just one quarter, but 2, 3, 4 quarters. And that's the difference between the best and the rest. The best know how to do it throughout each quarter, whereas the rest chasing them, they've maybe got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 quarters in them, but then there's that one quarter which they just can't uphold that discipline. But this is why they're in this league, because they need that level of competition to build that discipline. You won't get that discipline if you're not challenged and you're not pushed, and that's where you get that discipline from. And finally, to finish off the day, Macclesfield versus Wyre. A game between two teams who are in our 3rd and 4th national playoff last season, which Macclesfield won. So I think if we look back on these games, I think Macclesfield have the upper hand on Wyre. I think they might have beaten them last season as well. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. But Macclesfield, they've won one game already because Chester have dropped out of this round. So they could potentially leave this week with 8 points. And depending on what happens between Oaksway games and Chester games, have an outside chance of still pushing for the top 4. It's very unlikely, but I've said this before. I like Macclesfield. I think the team is full of character, and they're good fun to watch, to be fair, because you don't know what you're getting from them. you don't know whether you're getting a performance, an A grade performance or a D grade performance. It's just the unknown with Macclesfield. And that's why I enjoy watching them. They could come out one quarter and be getting beat 12-0. Then they come back out in the second quarter, get it back to 12-all. Then it's just a great watch. You just don't know what you're getting.
I was going to say, I like that though, because it's kind of like, well, where did that come from? How?
It's just like the kids. It's like the kid. You don't know what like 1 minute a child is, displaying skills way beyond their, way beyond what you expect of them. And Next minute, they go back to doing things.
Licking a window.
Yeah, licking a window, and you're like, what
are you
happened there?
doing?
So yeah, Macclesfield, they're one of those teams that you sit back and think, I wonder what's going to be happening today. Yeah, they're good fun. They're good fun to watch. They're competitive, but for me, they've got great character in the team as well. So yeah, we love character. We love a bit of personality at ENG.
Definitely, and at FBL, it's all about character.
Well, for this round is for me, it's all about the Kingsway Power Oldham. If both these teams get through these games, they literally are on a collision course for the biggest game of their season so far against each other on April the 23rd. And we will be bringing the Oldham and Kingsway Power girls in for our review show prior to this round. But
it's going to be needed, mate. That's
but this is what we've been building up to. And the fixture list, I kind of predicted we'd build up to this. And in a way, I'm hoping teams like kind of look at this and think, no, Rich, don't think so, mate. You're not going to have your fun at the end of the season. We're going to disrupt you. But
bring it on.
Yeah. So Oaksway and Chester and stuff and Saddleworth and Wyre, they had the chance to disrupt this narrative playing out. But if both of these teams get through these next two games, it's going to be a fantastic game of youth netball on April the 23rd. I'm probably going to have to limit the amount of tickets sold because it's going to be absolutely packed, and you're going to be stupidly busy on the live stream as well, because I can imagine teams on the south, people in Australia, from the jungles of the Amazon are going to be watching that game.
And if you are doing that, especially from from Africa and places like that, jungles as well, send a picture of you watching it where you are.
Yeah, if you're sitting there in the Amazon.
I do like that. # FBL watching. There you go. But that does look like a massive game that's building up to. Definitely Oldham v Kingsway.
But that, it's kind of for me, if I look at the season gone by, I think the most, I don't know, this is a tough one. I've kind of predicted Oldham to win the under-12s, but I'm kind of leaning more now towards Kingsway Power in the under-13s. I think this week we'll see, especially when Kingsway Power play Oaksway, the difference in scores when the teams played each other, to kind of get an idea of where both teams are at. But you can't split them hardly. Their attack, their defense, their mid-court play is amazing. But again, I always go back to mentality. When these teams go on the court, you can feel their winning attitude. You can feel their belief in their own ability. And you've got to give them credit. You can have people up and down the country saying, oh, why is it always them? And why are they always winning? And for me, it's kind of go and watch how they play.
Exactly. Go
and watch a live stream, and it comes very clear, very quickly, why these teams have the edge. And the mentality they have is what gives them that edge. Because I can't understand how you can be so enthusiastic from the first pass from the first second to the last second when you're winning by 40, 50 points. Like most teams will just kind of start to wind down because the game's been won, and you kind of just naturally, as a human, you would wind down because that's your natural instinct. It's not as intense, so but it still feels when they're 10 points up or 20 points up, it still feels they're trying to win. It still feels like the game's a draw.
That's how you got to be. You can't slow down. You can't relax. You need to get your goal difference up.
It's the intensity they bring to the game, and teams or girls who play netball or teams who want to be, competing against these teams. For me, I'll be working on mindset. What can I do in training to improve the girls' mindset? What can I do to improve their durability? All that working on different plays is all well and good, but if it needs to be done at a certain intensity, it has to be done at a certain pressurized environment, because anyone can throw, anyone can throw a ball from A to B when there's no pressure, but when their pressure's on and it's highly stressed environment, can you do it? And
I'll tell you what, you say that, right? I've seen that ball thrown very far and then caught at the other end perfectly, and then a shot taken. And that takes a lot, especially under pressure. So go find that on, in the replays, people. Go and check that online, and you'll see that happening. They're playing the ball exact, and it's not right next to them. It's length of the court scenario, which is quite amazing.
But the question is, would it be business as usual for Oldham and Kingswood Power this week? And I'd like to say no, because I'd like to think that Chester, Saddleworth, Wyre or Oaksway will be able to compete. But I think for these two teams, I think they're going to be so motivated this week to get these next two wins. It's going to be tough on the teams they're playing to keep up in terms of mentality. But I'm hoping, by me saying that, because a lot of people keep saying to me now, "Oh, we proved you wrong. We proved you wrong." Well, I said weeks ago, this is why we're here. This is why we do the review show. I want you to watch this, and I want you to get angry, and I want you to start getting competitive, because your whole life is about proving people wrong. You leave school and you get into the real world. 99% of people are not on your side. So your life is about constantly proving people wrong, depending on your type of mentality in life.
Sometimes not proving them wrong, just proving that you're right.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, the amount of backlash I've got from just running this company, putting events on. It's just ridiculous. Like, but I kind of, that's when my competitive spirit kicks in, and when I get those pushbacks, I kind of think, you know what, if you want me to just disappear into the wilderness, you're probably just going to have to stop poking me, because the more you poke, the more I'm going to be, the more intense I'm going to become, because that's my nature. And I'm hoping when I say these things on this review show, I'm hoping the girls watching think, no, we're going to prove you wrong. We are just as good. We are just as intense. We are just as disciplined. And that's what it's all about. It's about proving yourself, proving to yourself that you can compete when people are saying you can't.
Yes.
And that's where you get the most validation for me, because again, this is why we watch sport half the time, because we want to see the underdog triumph,
come out on top. Yes.
We watch boxing, and you want to see that the underdog triumph against all the odds, and it happens. But the best way to give yourself the best chance of being triumphing when the chips are down is applying yourself, walking into that court with that belief. When you do your warm-up, make sure the warm-up's intense. Make sure you've got a sweat on. Make sure you're taking your shots. There's no time to
practice beforehand. Yeah, make sure you've learnt it all.
But before the whistle blows, you've got that 12-minute period. In that 12 minutes, do everything you can to be ready for that game.
Definitely.
And it starts there. And when the whistle goes, be brave, be courageous in battle, because the more tentative you are, the more the kind of the sharks are gonna come and bite. So the more brave you are, the sharks are going to step back. I said to someone the other day on an email, a team won a great game, and I turned around and said, "Look, sometimes when you fight back against a lion, he's not as strong as you think he is. It's just that you never decided to fight back because you were scared of the growl." So it's one of those ones when someone's growling
Daniel's
at you.
son.
No, but someone's growling at you. Growl back a little bit, then you you get an insight into how vicious that lion is. And I've had it before with institutions messaging me and giving me this and telling me this, you know, you can't do this and we're going to report you for this. And it's all nonsense. But you throw something back at them, then they kind of disappear back to where they come from, because it's all bravado. It's all growl. But when you come back and you growl back at them, they disappear. So it's, you know, I'm not saying
used to it. They're used to being in a certain position where they can growl and, you know what I mean, pick on people basically and just do whatever they want.
And that's what it's about.
They don't expect somebody to bite back, and it does. You know, it does happen. You know, people when they poke the bear, it's like you poked the wrong bear, mate. Simple as. Yeah. I'm not a
good analogy is, you know, you see the well, it's just based on what we're saying now. Like for me, like Saddleworth, Oaksway, Wyre, Chester, they've got the roaring lion. Now they've got a choice. They can either allow that lion just to eat them up, or they can think, you know what, if we're gonna die, we might as well die well, die with a bit of pride.
Exactly.
But then they might find, when they start fighting back, they might find, hold on a minute, this lion is not as strong as we thought it was.
Not as fierce, definitely.
Not
I'd
as
agree
fierce.
with that.
But you might bite back, and they might bite harder back. You're like, I wish I never did that.
You've done me again.
So that is the attitude you got to have. You've got to just be brave.
Again, by pushing harder, you can actually cause faults. So that's another thing, isn't it? It's, you know, you believe they're that good, but sometimes by keeping on. I remember the days when I used to run around a football pitch. Obviously, not to the accolade of you, Mr. Richard, but I'd always, you know, my health or my ability of running, I'd just always be around. You know, even somebody got past me, I was then back round and attacking them again. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that wasp that's always like, go away and stop. It just annoys them, not used to it. You know, I never made it onto any of the football teams, but it was one of those interesting things. They'd say to me, like, just when we're playing, you just annoy me because I get past you and then you're back there again because you run back. It's like, well, that's what I'm supposed to. I'm defending.
No, I agree. I agree. Like, be a pest. Like, if you can't match someone for ability, be an absolute pest. Annoy. Like, you're right in what you're saying. I used to love, you know, especially when I played school football in particular, I used to just kind of, I used to really enjoy it because when I played at a professional level, it's just everything was difficult. Every game was difficult. You never really had an easy game. But school football, for me, it was more of a relaxing environment. I could express myself more. I'd have more success in taking people on and scoring goals and that. But then you always get those, you'd always kind of underestimate certain players based on their physical build or whatever. But they were the worst. Some of them had such a good attitude because, put it this way, he will not be watching. There's a boy called Simon Hatt, and here's one for you. Useless footballer, absolute useless, but mentality-wise, had a heart of a lion. Getting past him in a football match was the most hardest thing I could do because he was, like you said, he was constantly at your ankles. He's like, just go away, Simon. Like, know your limits. Like, come on.
I'm better than you.
But he would kind of be like arrogant enough to think, no, I can still match you, even though ability level wise it was a different level. But then years passed, and I kind of thought, so well, I wonder what happened to Simon Hatt. Well, Simon Hatt's mentality he took into his professional life, and he became a Hollywood director. So that attitude he had, playing football, that never give up attitude, that discipline, and even though you're better than me, I'm going to be arrogant enough to think I can compete with you. He took into his professional life, and he's living in Hollywood. So there's me on on my tip, my junk chair I got from the dump shop. And Simon Hatt is in Hollywood making films. So Simon,
who's
if you're
the winner
watching
now? Hey, who's the winner now?
Again, like Martin said, and like Simon, if you can't match someone for ability, you can outclass them in mentality. You can outclass them in work ethic. Go round it a different way. Doesn't have to be based on how well you can throw the ball.
Keep the pressure on.
Keep the pressure on and be there. You're ready then to maximize when mistakes happen. But
definitely,
that's our review show done.
Yes, it is.
And look forward to seeing everyone Saturday. Good day ahead. Some good games to look forward to. Don't forget to buy tickets. Make sure you come along and support the girls. If you can't be there, remember Martin has aced the viewing.
Still not yet. I've still got more to come, mate.
But it's at its peak
new tech.
now.
Still playing around with it.
It's at its peak. So if you do watch online,
hey mate, this is at my peak. This is the Days of Thunder thing. You can tell me how much the machine can do. Don't tell me what I can do, mate. This is not my peak.
It's not your peak, but it's the best yet. It's the best yet.
And we haven't even got that bit of tech that I ordered 6 months ago.
Precisely. So, get online, watch the game, support the girls, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday. But Martin, thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Richard. Don't forget, everybody, write in the comments. We love to read the comments, so please do. All good. And thanks for watching. Have a good.
Oh yeah, and one thing. When you have a cup of tea, dark chocolate biscuits or milk chocolate biscuits. We're going to put this out on Instagram and tell us what you think: milk chocolate or dark chocolate biscuits.
Can I jump in quickly with the crisp thing as well? Are we going to set up for next week?
Next week, do it next week.
Next week. All right, then. Okay, dark chocolate or milk chocolate. All right.
All right.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget, comments, people. Put comments down below. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you, Richard.